Short-term retreat, Dhamma talk number 12. Let's go and touch upon the Mahabhuta, four great elements. To understand a little deeper, earth element, wind element, and fire element. Three elements. Those three elements are tangible objects. You can directly touch and experience. Water element. Water element is very subtle. It's not tangible, so it is difficult to observe. But it can be known in conjunction with the earth, wind, and fire elements in a form of fluidity and liquidity. Just to explain that, let's use an example. For water element. Water element. Just for clarity, let me use the chemical symbol H2O, water. H2O. But this H2O can be found as ice. This H2O can be found as water. This H2O or water element can be found as vapor. Solid, liquid, and gas. Changing vapor into water and then into ice is the cohesion process. It is making the water molecules to get closer, stickier. It's a cohesion process. And that cohesion process is mainly due to water element and indirectly due to fire element. That quality of cohesion, the ability to be cohesive, bond, is actually water element's quality. Like feeling stiff like a rod inside your body, like a rock, like a stick. That is due to water and earth element. Feeling bloated, stiff, full, extremely full, bloatedness in your stomach is due to water and wind element. You're feeling a little hot here, hot there, hot spot on your body, in your body, is due to water and fire element. That's how water element can be seen or known in conjunction with the other three elements. And we use the word stiff, feeling stiff like a rock, feeling stiff like being bloated. So there are many levels of stiff. Just simply normal stiffness, or like a tension in your abdomen due to your in-breath and out-breath, is simply due to wind element. That is how one need to understand these elements. The functions, their characteristics, how it represents to a person or manifest. Okay. Every changes that is taking place in the body is the work of these four elements, or is the functions, are the functions of these four great elements called Mahabhuta. So comprehending body or comprehending rupa, but let's call here body because we are using the body as an example, our physical body, your body, my body. Comprehending body means it is knowing the earth element, wind element, fire element, and water element according to their characteristics and functions. If you are properly comprehending, it is not as self or I, me, or you. Simply a function and characteristics of these four elements. If you know that way, you are properly, correctly comprehending what the body is. Rupa, body. Every malfunction in the body is due to the imbalance of these four elements. Your body is well. In other words, I feel great, I feel good, I'm healthy. That means these four elements are working as it should be. And as soon as something goes wrong, that is due to one or a few of these elements are malfunctioning, not working properly. So, to understand bodily process, if you want to understand these things, simply observe functions and manifestations of the four elements in all activities, actions and manners of a person, of a yogi. Simply just observe their functions, manifestations, and you will understand this, the work of the four elements, or this bodily process, what we call as I, me, my body. Let's say you're observing now. When you're observing you felt a little hot spot in your body, maybe at the ankle or at the knee, or your lower back. When you sense that, when you feel that hot spot, simply observe and note 2-3 times. Hot, hot, hot. Don't focus on the word. Focus on the actual feeling of that hotness or the heat at your lower back. Hot, hot, hot. And if you really observe that way, you will come to know 2 things. One is, it's a temperature. Hot, heat means temperature. Temperature is hot temperature and cold temperature. You will come to know there's a temperature, which is fire element. And also you will come to the location of the heat, whether it's lower back or knees or hips. That spot, if you want to call it properly, it is the body sensitivity. In Pali, Kaya Pasada. Simply say, location of the body where you can feel heat. Proper term, body sensitivity. The body is sensitive at that point, knowable about the sensation on the spot. Kaya Pasada. That's what you come to know if you observe hot, hot, hot. One is temperature, but another one, it's a location. 2 things. This imbalance, I'll use the word imbalance. When you use the word imbalance, it can be more than what's supposed to be normal. It can be less than what is supposed to be normal. It will be in excess or it will be in deficient mode. Let's call it imbalance. This is the imbalance of fire elements that comes in contact with the body sensitivity. We have a normal body temperature. It could become even more, a few degrees more than that at a certain spot. That means that fire element, imbalanced fire elements, comes in touch with that body sensitivity. So we use the word body sensitivity. What is this body sensitivity? Where is it? What it is? Every part, including the inside of your body, every part of your body, including inside of the body, is body sensitivity. Almost everywhere, except the hair, teeth, nails, and a dead skin. Okay. Hair, nails, teeth, dead skin. There's no sensation in those spots. That's why they are not called body sensitivity. Other than that, the whole body, including inside, not only outside the skin, is body sensitivity, where you can notice the imbalance of the elements. So let's learn a few little proper terms. Imbalanced heat that come in contact with the body sensitivity. The heat that come in contact with the body sensitivity is called Teja Padamapa Ramana. Teja is heat, fire. Ramana is object. Padamata is identifiable, noticeable, touchable. So if you put all those things together in English, that Teja Padamapa Ramana means object with identifiable, touchable, noticeable fire element. That's it. So the same goes. Imbalance of stiffness that come in contact with the body sensitivity is called Vaya Padamapa Ramana. Object with identifiable, touchable, noticeable wind element. Imbalance in hardness that comes in contact with the body sensitivity is called Patawa Padamapa Ramana. Object with identifiable, noticeable, touchable earth element. So these are the terms that we use so that we have the clarity of exactly what we are experiencing is. When imbalance of earth, wind and fire elements, earth or wind or fire elements, come in contact with the body sensitivity, one becomes aware. As a feeling of hardness, feeling of stiffness, feeling of heat, etc., etc. That is how you come to know when the imbalance of the elements come in contact with the body sensitivity. And these hard, soft, hot, so on and so on is the how the element manifest to the yogi, the manifestation. Knowing of the contact of this earth element, wind element, fire element with body sensitivity. Knowing of those contact of those elements with body sensitivity is called body consciousness. Kaya Vijnana. Kaya is body, Vijnana is consciousness. That knowing of what is happening, the specific condition is called body consciousness, a type of consciousness that we call body consciousness because it knows about related with the body. So in this process, if you look at it, you will see three things. One is body sensitivity, sensitive spots. And the other one is noticeable or imbalance, earth or wind or fire element. And knowing of these two is the body consciousness. Okay? So there are three things if you're observing these things: hardness, softness, hot, cold, stiff. In that holding, there are three things involved. One is the object. The other is sensitive spot. And the third one is the knowing phenomenon of these two. Three things are involved when you say hard, hot, stiff, and so on. Before we are just simply noting, oh, hot, 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 pain, 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 stiff, stiff, stiff. What does it mean? It means three things are working together. One is the imbalance element. Another one is sensitive spot. And the third one is knowing of the two. That's what it means by stiff, stiff, hot, hot. Not just words. These are actual operations of the elements. You notice we don't really include the word water because water element is not observable. We just simply mention earth, fire, and wind. But water is always included in conjunction with them. And if you look at it in these three things, how they are dancing, body consciousness arises due to the contact of the imbalanced element and body sensitivity. If there is no contact of imbalanced element and body sensitivity, there will be no body consciousness. The union or the coming together or meeting of these three elements, of these three factors at a moment in time is called mental contact, phassa. Meeting of these three factors we discuss, coming together or union, whichever word you like, of these three factors, element, sensitivity, and knowing, is called phassa. English translation, mental contact. But people usually call contact. They drop the word mental. Precisely is mental contact. According to the discourse on the dependent origination, mental contact as a leader give rise to feeling, vedana, phassa, vicaya, vedana. Mental contact give rise to feeling. Due to mental contact, feeling rises. But for those who have already listened to the dependent origination, you know some factors such as this one, contact, feeling, the resultant aggregates, arises together. But even though arises together, the Buddha put it in a way, at a certain condition, a factor is leading the other. That's why when we discuss like due to this, that arises. But it's not in chronological sequence. It's a lot more complex. But we will leave that at this moment. Just know they arises together, but one lead the operation. Just like a bunch of soldiers marching with a surgeon, left, right, left, right, left, right. They are all together, but the surgeon is the leader. If you understand that, you will understand this. So if one is mindful of the body, in other words, mindfulness of the body practicing, if one is mindful of the body, one will come to experience this hardness, stiffness, tingling, heat, all the manifestation, etc., etc. You will come to know all these things if you are observing, if you are mindful on the body. And this knowing of these little qualities, all these qualities, is in fact, you are observing the mental contact of the body sensitivity, imbalance element, and body consciousness. So don't just say, oh, it's hard, it's hard, it's stiff, it's painful. Yeah, you must know exactly as it is in your practical. But now, you know some aspect of theory we are putting all together. Oh, hot, hot, hot. That means there's an imbalanced fire element, there's a sensitive spot, and a knowing process, all working together, coming together. That's what it means by hot, 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 pain, 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 stiff, stiff, stiff. You have a wider and deeper understanding of what you are experiencing. Okay, let's use some example, a few more examples. In our practice, we have a painful feeling. This painful feeling, that's from the physical source. Knee pain, hip pain. You're meditating sitting for a long time. Painful feeling from physical source. Remember the Pali words? Kayika dukkha vedana. Kayika is body, dukkha is suffering, vedana is feeling. Unpleasant feeling from the physical source. This painful feeling from the physical source arises due to mental contact, phassa. Without that contact, that feeling cannot arise. Mental contact. What is this? Mental contact. This is the coming together of the tangible object, noticeable object, and which is with excessive heat. Tangible object with excessive heat coming in contact with the body sensitivity and body consciousness. That's a painful feeling. When you say pain, 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 that's what it is. The union of this excessive heat, tangible object, your lower back, and the knowing of it, the union of the three is called mental contact, phassa. Buddha, let's quote Buddha. Buddha said, monks, due to contact of body sensitivity and tangible objects, give birth to body consciousness. And contact as condition, there arise feeling, vedana. And contact as condition, there arises, let's put it fuller, feeling and sensation. That's a quote from Buddha. By observing, noting, and knowing all actions, manners, and movements of mind and matter, the yogi come to experience these conditional process. These processes are happening, but always based on a certain condition. If the conditions are there, it is there. If the conditions are not there, it's not there. If another type of condition is there it arises. Always under the influence of conditions, these processes are operating. That's why it's called conditional process, not simply process, conditional process. To get it, to understand it fuller. Some yogi understand these conditional process by themselves. A yogi practicing and they understand. Or with a little help from outside. But some yogis need a bit of instructions and explanations to correlate the experience and the concept of these conditional process. The teacher, that's where the Dharma talks come in, so that one can correlate your experience and these concepts. Some requires spoon feeding to bridge between these two, practice and theory. And these variations, these all depends on the parami of the individual yogi. Parami means some yogis, they have been practicing that in past lives. Some people, they are just brand new kid on the block. But according to the scripture, it's written in the scripture, regardless of whatever level of parami one may have or one may not have, doesn't matter. By having right support, every diligent yogi, these are the key words, every diligent yogis with confidence in the practice, with determination and commitment, can become Satipatthana, stream winner, the first noble person in this life. Whether you have a great parami or medium parami or small parami, doesn't matter. Number one, you are already practicing. And when you practice, you have great effort in it. And you believed in this confidence, faith. And you are determined that I am going to succeed. And then you do with commitment till the end of the journey. And if you have these qualities, regardless the level of the parami one has, you will attain or become Satipatthana in this life. So don't lose heart. Don't blame. Don't use the blame game to parami. It's in your hand because you have everything right now. Mind you, if one has undifferentiated awareness of heat, sensitivity, and mind, undifferentiated, which means you sense all those three together as a single unit. If that's the case, it will lead into feeling, Phassa Visaya Vedana, and then it will lead into craving, Vedana Vichaya Tanha, and finally suffering. In other words, if you don't know this process of mental contact clearly, experience clearly, it will go to feeling, craving, and finally suffering. But if one is aware of this very clearly, this acuity is stiffness, hardness, heat, pain, and so on. And if you understand these stiffness and hardness and pains are rupa, materiality, and also sensitivity or sensitive locations of these imbalanced elements, where they can be noticed, is also rupa. There are two rupa. The heat itself is a rupa, and the location is also a rupa. And knowing of these two rupas is mind, nama. If you know these two rupas and nama individually, separately, you know them, and also these two rupa, the contact, imbalance heat and the body come in contact, give rise to nama, the mind, consciousness, which means cause and effect. The two rupa is the cause, the mind is the effect. And also, of course, they are always arising and passing away. If you know them separately, if you know them one cause the other, if you know that they appear and disappear, that means you have comprehended the discriminative awareness of mind and matter. You have comprehended causal relationship of mind and matter, and there are three common characteristics. See, the insights are right there. But of course you are not thinking, oh, this insight, that insight, but it is there. All that you know is you know these things separately and how their inner workings are and how they are displaying. Then you got all these insights. Don't have to think that way, don't have to said that way, but you are the insight. Insight is you. If you can discern these three things separately, when a pain is arising in your body, if you can discern these things separately, when the pain is arising in your body, guess what happened? You will not suffer from pain anymore. At that time, it said the yogi has overcome the pain. Because pain is simply just one single unit. And what is pain? Pain is imbalance of an element. And the location, a sensitivity, body sensitivity, and the knowing of the two. That is pain. And if you know that way, if you understand that way, if you experience that way, actually seeing, feeling, sensing, you are not suffering. You are not going to suffer from pain. Pain is a process, but you know how this process works. When the process works, there's no problem. A student who doesn't know a solution to a mathematical problem under great stress, when he knows how to, there's no more problem. Just like that. That's how one or the yogi overcome the pain. However, if one sees these things as one unit, just pain. Pain will arise and one will suffer due to pain. That's where the suffering comes, because you don't know. You just think identify as a solid pain that is attacking me, my knee, pain in my knee, pain in my back. But when you see this process under observation, under mindfulness, that broke down. So by being able to see these three processes, what are they? One is element. Another one is sensitivity. Another one is knowing. When you are able to see, when you are able to understand, when you are able to experience these three processes, these three factors separately, not united. If you see that way, their union is broken. Their togetherness is normal. They are all piece by piece. When the union is broken, that means there is no more contact. There is no more phassa. Contact phassa is those three has to be joining together, see and perceive them as one. That is phassa. But they are there, they are joining, but you see them separately. In other words, you see the inner workings, details, how it is individually. And at that moment, you broke that contact. Phassa is broken because you see them individually. And when the phassa, mental contact, is broken, there will be no more feeling, craving, suffering, dependent origination. Union of the three contact give rise to feeling. Feeling give rise to craving. Craving eventually give rise to suffering. Phassa is broken. Basically, we break up the mental contact. We break up the phassa with mindfulness. Strong, powerful mindfulness. When phassa is broken, mental contact is broken, there is no more craving. May all of you be able to practice mindfulness insight meditation, observed, note, and know with great diligence. And may you be able to see, sense, and experience these physical and mental process. And attain liberation from craving as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.